Hello, I'm Daniel. I want to talk to you about the Buddha a little bit, if that's okay. Specifically, I want to talk about a part of the Buddha's journey that is really important to me. And that is the end of his journey to awakening, not the end of his life, the end of his journey to awakening. So the Buddha, this figure, Siddhartha, he has left his whole life behind and been on this spiritual journey for 6 years. And he's experienced hardship and he's experienced what he felt like was a little bit of success. But he sits down under this tree and he says, I'm going to sit here until I attain enlightenment. That's period. That's it. Because everything he had learned was not enough. He didn't feel awakened. So the Buddha is sitting under this tree and he's about to get there. He's about to attain enlightenment and get some real spiritual awareness. And as the story gets told, Mara appears. What's Mara? Mara is a kind of devil figure. But the truth is he represents the Buddha's own mind. He's not usually taken as a real flesh and blood creature, but rather he represents the Buddha's mind. And he represents our minds too. So Mara appears and he is trying to tempt the Buddha, trying to get him to give up this path. He's trying to get him to stop this spiritual journey and just go back to being a normal person, a prince. Not really a normal person, is it? But to just get back to worldly life. That's what Mara wants the Buddha to do. That is the temptation the Buddha is facing, is to give up the spiritual journey and go back to a worldly life. So Mara appears, and first he shows the Buddha beautiful women. Beautiful women. And he's essentially saying, wouldn't you rather be having sex right now than meditating? And this could represent sex for us, but really it's anything we'd rather be doing. So it could be sex, drinking, eating burritos, watching Netflix, whatever. There's lots of things we'd rather do than meditate. There's lots of things we'd rather do than meditate. Meditating, we know we need it, but it's kind of hard to keep doing. But the Buddha doesn't give up. He still sits there. He ignores these beautiful women and Mara. And that is when Mara hits him with another thing. And that is self-doubt. Mara says to the Buddha, who do you think you are? This isn't going to work for you. You're not good enough. Your mind is never going to calm down. You can't settle for a few minutes, let alone the amount of time it takes to really have spiritual insight. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. And there are ways the Mara story gets told with more and more things Mara tempts him with, but those are the two that are the most meaningful to me. But that is important because it reminds us that the Buddha is like us. Because there are times when we think, I wish I could calm down and meditate, but I just can't. I know other people can do it. I can't. I can't handle it. I'm too busy. I'm too energetic. I'm too distracted. I can't meditate. That's what we tell ourselves sometimes. And that is essentially the same thing as Mara talking to the Buddha and telling him, you're not good enough. You are. You are, and we all are, because the spiritual insight we're trying to get is insight into our true nature. And you can't not be good enough for that. You can't. No one is unworthy. No one gets left out. This is for everyone. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, because no one gets left out. So that's all I wanted to share today. The Buddha was not moved by that self-doubt. He kept practicing instead, and he attained enlightenment, and he discovered the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and the Middle Way and all the other wonderful teachings. So it's very important that he didn't let his self-doubt defeat him, and you shouldn't let your self-doubt defeat you. You can do this. and you're more powerful than you think you are. So that's all for today. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.